My name is Syariffahss and I'm from Sekolah Menengah Sains Kota Tinggi. I'm teaching English and also civic literacy. And my learning activity is waste segregation. Now, I chose this topic because it's a spark of one of the Form 5 topic, which is Chapter 9, entitled Water Waste, but I would focus on waste segregation. We'll talk to you about the lesson background. This learning activity not only aims to make students and public understand the importance of waste segregation, but also make it a culture to adopt and eventually increase the rate of recycling in Malaysia. Because as we know, 3R concept is not a very new concept in Malaysia, but no one is actually practicing that. So the stage that I chose is presentation. And the activity is students use Excel survey to elicit response from the public to find out how many are actually segregating their waste. So the learning outcomes are students would come up with survey questions using Excel survey to elicit response from the public. The students would have to work together to come up with the questions themselves. And they would also ultimately share practices of the waste management in an effort to sustain the environment with students from different countries. Right. The last one is the one I took from the Form 5 RPT. So the level of proficiency of my students is of intermediate. It's Form 5 students. The targeted skills that I would like to incorporate into this learning activity is self-regulation and also collaboration, where they would practice self-regulation in terms of constructing the survey questions, because they have to make it themselves and they have to make sure that whether the questions are appropriate or not. And the collaborative comes in when they would have to share. They would have to also, we would ultimately create Excel survey to find out a response from Malaysia, and also create a different Excel survey links for different countries. And we'd also want to share and practice their waste management practices in the countries, and also try to adapt that in Malaysia. Then now I'm going to talk to you about the steps of activity. The first one, students work together to come up with survey questions using Excel survey. Why do I choose Excel survey? Because it's very easy to use. It's kind of an online thing where the students would have to just come up and give the link. They could just, and then the students would put the Excel survey link on social media like Facebook or Instagram to elicit response from the public, and the public can just access to it anywhere they are, and we can just look at the response. All right, and then students would also create different survey links for different participating countries. I do have like a lot of countries interested in participating in our learning activity, like Brunei and Vietnam and Lithuania and Brazil, what else? And the Philippines. And ultimately we would analyze the result survey, like we would compare and contrast the survey result from our country, Malaysia, and looking at the waste segregation practice, and also compare it with other countries. So these are the pictures from what my students were doing. So the students were working together to come up with survey questions. They would have to go online to look for appropriate survey questions. And that is the link for my Excel survey, the one that we have done. And if you look at the top picture, that is the students brainstorming on the reason why waste segregation doesn't work in Malaysia and what they can do to improve that. And the middle picture, we actually invited an environment consultant to give waste management practice in Malaysia, so that the students can actually ask questions. Because sometimes when they are going online, they would find terminology that they couldn't really understand, and when they asked me, I couldn't explain myself because I'm not, I didn't come from an environment background. So we actually invited this environment consultant, and the students actually ask questions and understand the topic better. And that's all. So to conclude, again, the students would have to come up with survey questions using Excel survey, and also share practices of waste management with students from different countries. Thank you.